listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. We're so happy to have you here. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the Underdog Show. I'm your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, juggling a lot of balls. And I've got a great co-host, Doctor Who of Business, Ben Chai, but he's not in the house yet. So I'm going to introduce my guest. She is lovely. She is a TV host. She has her own podcast, and she's an explorer. Welcome to the program, Sarah. Hi.
Hello, Jacalyn. It's great to meet you and great to be on the show.
It's so nice to see you. And where are you joining us from today, Sarah?
I'm joining you from London, England.
Fabulous. I have so many new friends in London. I can't wait to get over there at the beginning of next year. I'd love to get together with you in person.
Yeah, well, you should come now because we have a real summer right now. So everyone's out and about, enjoying the sun, lying on the grass, sunbathing. Not that I need it, but I do it anyway. And it's just pleasant, you know. It's so nice to finally enjoy the sun.
It makes you feel so much better, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the sun really rejuvenates your soul. There have been a lot of scientific studies about being outdoors and being in touch with nature and the positive impact it has on the mind. So it's very good for mental health, but it's also, and vitamin D, but it's just such a game changer in your day to spend at least 10 minutes outside in the sun. It really makes a difference, and it changes the way you think about things, the way you do your work, the way you relate to others around you. You know, I have this beautiful relationship with the sun, like they did in the ancient Egyptian times when I don't exactly worship the sun. They used to worship Ra, Nefertiti's bond with Ra. But I just think everyone should be aware of the positive impacts it can have on your mental health and your physical health. That's all.
And it's important to take care of your mental and physical health. So thank you for bringing that up. I think it's so interesting, all the things that you're doing, all the things that you're accomplishing. We need people like you out there in the world now because after what we've all been through, we need to be inspiring other people, which is exactly what you do. I'm really interested if you could talk to us about your work. I introduced you and I said that you're an explorer. What does that mean to you?
An explorer. So for me, exploration is not limited to the terrains here on Earth. So quite recently, I've been fascinated by space and space exploration. But not only that, I've also been exploring the universal laws, understanding them from a philosophical standpoint, and then making sense of them in a scientific in the scientific sense, for example, Einstein's theories and so many others. But my past life, in this life, I was exploring remote jungles, deserts, caves, mountains, all kinds of terrains, living with indigenous people, indigenous tribes, immersing in their way of life, and understanding their culture, their struggles, their highs, their lows, what makes them who they are, their relationship with their immediate environment, how climate change is affecting their way of life and their homes, and documenting that in documentaries and making a difference in their lives as well. So that's been the past decade of my life, just dedicating myself to doing that. And it started from making my very first film in the Amazon rainforest. So when I was 9 years old, I learned about deforestation in the Amazon, and it became my dream to go there and see how the tribes people lived. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that that would happen. And then at the age of 21, I was studying television production, broadcasting journalism at university. But I was worried about my future. I wanted to do something that stood out. I didn't want to be just another graduate. So during my final year, I took a month out and I decided to follow my childhood dream and go to the Amazon rainforest and make a documentary about an indigenous tribe. So at the time, I had no idea how to do it, but it took me 6 months to pre-produce the entire trip, the entire expedition. I hired a cameraman from New York, a soundman from Portsmouth. I found a tribe who lived remotely and primitively in the Ecuadorian Amazon in the Yasuni National Park, which is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. And then I decided to just go.
So, Sarah,
yeah.
So I want to welcome our co-host, and then I have a question for you. Hi, Dr. Who, how are you?
Hello.
But we can't hear you. There. We're having some technical difficulties. Anyway, Sarah, what I wanted to ask you was the first thing that came to mind when you said to me that you were doing this documentary. I thought, first of all, incredible, brave. And I just wondered, was there any fear when you thought about doing this? Because me, going into the jungle, I would literally be terrified, but you didn't seem to have any of that.
To be honest with you, no. I don't know why, but things like that don't scare me. Things like accounting and numbers, stuff like that scares the crap out of me. But going to jungles, living with tribes and hunting with warriors, all of that stuff excites me. I was excited to connect with people on the soul level. As an anthropologist explorer, I explore people's cultures. I try to understand what makes them human and how they're defined by their culture, their belief systems, their values. All of that really excites me. And I was ready to just step in, get really immersive, to really live in their shoes and hunt with the warriors and gather with the women and then really understand who they are as people. And by doing that, I really understood them. And I became that bridge. They made me queen. Then they married me to a warrior during my initiation ceremony. After they convinced me to get naked like them. So I'm now an advocate for the tribe, and I've been sending their message to the entire world through my talks, through my documentaries, through any engagement that I have in the media. And it's created a lot of awareness of this tribe, of this part of the world, the importance to preserve it. It's managed to reach the president of Ecuador at the time, Rafael Correa, and his government. That was interesting because they invited me to meet them. They wanted to know what my plans were in terms of my activism for the rainforest. I think they were scared of me. And the thing is, what the tribe did was they managed to get a written document created where they wanted to make a peace, like a pact with the government, and they wanted me to be the person to present it to the president. So they sent it to me. And in this document, it stated that they understand the government needs to drill for oil for the sake of the economy for the rest of the country. However, because oil is a major cash cow in Ecuador, however, they wanted the government to acknowledge them and the need for their survival and why it's important to preserve the jungle for their livelihood and for their existence, for the medicinal plants that could be discovered to cure various diseases, etc. So I did pass this on to the government, but I hadn't received a response. And then years later, this tribe managed to register a large amount of land to protect it from exploitation. So these are fierce warriors, and they're amazing. I still speak to them on Facebook, some of my warriors. So they're always asking me to return, giving me updates. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Sarah, you're amazing. And I'm thinking this is the warrior show, but it's the underdog show. And you weren't an underdog in that situation at all. You said you were brave and strong. You never even gave it a second thought. Doctor Who, I want to welcome you again. Are you with us now?
I'm always with you.
I love that.
So, Sarah, is your documentary available? Is it finished?
Yes, so Amazon Souls is online. It's on the Wildlife Conservation channel. It was on iTunes and Amazon as well. I'm going to be getting it back on there. It's on Herflix. And yeah, it's available.
And tell us the title, please, again.
Amazon Souls.
That's the name of your documentary, Amazon Songs? Okay, beautiful.
Souls. Amazon Souls.
Oh, Souls. S-O-U. Okay. Thank you.
So it was endorsed by Bear Grylls and David Cameron. No, not David Cameron. James Cameron. Getting the Camerons mixed up. James Cameron wished me well with it when I had finished it because it was very similar to Avatar, the experience. And I watched Avatar a few days before my flight. It's really, really interesting. But in terms of being an underdog, you mentioned not being an underdog. Actually, I've had my own set of challenges that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, in fact, I saw quite a few of the challenges you had. I mean, just even taking all your clothes off because there's a bit where you had it all very dark and there, you know.
Oh no, that
and also you screaming when you have to kill the chicken. It's like, you know, cut off the head of the chicken. And
I mean, when I look at this now. Because this was 10 years ago, but when I think of this now, yes, our Western barriers make it very difficult for us and ignite a sense of fear within us to take off our clothes in the middle of a jungle with an indigenous tribe you've never met before. That's scary. But as an anthropologist, or a participant observer, if you're going to be immersive, you're going to respect that culture, you're going to listen to them and be like them. And if they're going to respect our culture, they won't be walking around naked. If they came here in London or New York, wherever it may be, they would put on the clothes. They would want to respect the culture that they're in so that they would be listened to. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where although a lot of people don't want to admit it, perception really does matter. People do judge you based on perception and image. They have an initial understanding of what you could be like. In terms of my challenges, yeah, I was really scared. I was scared of killing the chicken because I had never killed anything before. But that's how we get the meat that we eat. I'm vegan now, but that's how if you eat chicken, that's how it's done. It's actually killed and then defeathered, and it goes through a process before it looks like the chicken breast fillets that you buy in the supermarkets. And those are the stages it goes through. You don't think about it. It actually, a life has given itself up to become your nutrition.
Sarah, are you a vegan now as a result of that experience that you had, or it's unrelated?
To be honest, it's a series of things over the years. I tried being vegan several times, and then my doctor told me off a few times because I blacked out.
No, I've had the same issue because I've tried being a vegan a few times, and I'm not getting sufficient B6 and B12 in spite of the supplements my body isn't taking on. So I was having blackouts as well, Sarah. I understand that.
But I've been vegan for 2 months now, very successfully. And I think now, because of the products available, I think they now put the right nutritional elements inside the vegan and plant-based food that they're selling in the supermarkets for us to be able to sustain such a diet. And I think that's what it is. Because now I have access to more vegan produce than I did a couple of years ago when I tried being vegan. And that has helped significantly. And I think it was watching a documentary, Sea of Shadows, seeing shocking images of fish, of seafood, how they're tortured just to be sold to for the sake of profit. It just really put me off. It saddened me deeply. And to see the way animals are treated just for business, I just think, and sustainability standards are quite often sidelined and ignored. So I just think people really need to understand where the food comes from, but how it's processed. And we need to get to the truth of a lot of things, because a lot of businesses do hide.
Sure. And there are actually quite a few documentaries on that, which is why, I made the attempt to become a vegan. But we want to focus on your challenges rather than...
Oh, sorry, my challenges. Gosh. Okay, so...
But before we go into that, I was just wondering, Dr. J, do you want to have the sponsor break?
Yes, you read my mind, Dr. Thank you so
Sarah,
much.
after the break, the things that I'm interested in is when you took all your clothes off, were you scared about things biting you, getting scratched by foliage, all that kind of stuff?
I was affected by everything.
so that's one of the questions that we'll probably explore, and how often you had to do it before you felt comfortable. How did you transform your mindset? Which I'm sure you had to do gradually, and probably from the documentary I saw of you, there was immense happiness, but there was also a certain amount of poverty. So I'd like to explore their issues as well, if that's okay.
Yes, that's perfect.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us here on the Underdog Show with Doctor Who of Business, Ben Shai, and our beautiful guest, Sarah Begum. We'll be right back.
The session that we had with BCAP was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAP Partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAP Partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
The world of healthcare is benefiting us in many ways, but the risk of becoming a victim to an airborne infection is increasing at a fast pace too. There are threats from viruses, allergic pollen, and chemicals which cause you loss of health, income, business, mental health, family and friends. All are at stake. One solution to this threat are the BV Air Sanitation Placide-based systems. When you call our team on 0208 104 3253, you find out about the amazing protection available. Protection that uses certified Battlefield, tested, standard and customized air disinfection systems for your personal and business use. Each system uses a filterless technology known as Placide, which attacks all airborne particles with microlighting to destroy and eliminate viruses and other harmful particles in your office, transport and home. You also benefit from extra bonuses such as low running and maintenance costs, no regular filter and part changes. You get to work with our trained experts and professional staff and be made aware of the latest in airborne protection and disinfection strategy. Keep yourself healthy by working with our trained experts and Placide virus killing systems, which keep you safe from airborne viruses. BV Air Sanitation Limited. We save lives, save businesses, and prevent infection. Schedule your free consultancy call and virus protection checklist. Call 0208 104 3253 or connect to us on www.bvbuster.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio on the planet, and the other stations are tuned into.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back. You are still watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the Underdog show, and my co-hosts and guests are both in the London area. Isn't that cool? Both enjoying beautiful sunny days. So Sarah is a TV presenter. She has a podcast. She's also a filmmaker. She shared with us that she's produced this incredible documentary, Amazon Souls, and was living in the Amazon au naturel. So I think we're going to start a first question, Dr. Who, in reference to that.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, when they asked you to run around, without any clothes on, what went through your mind, and how did you did you do it straight away and think I've got to do it straight away, or did it happen? Was it a gradual process, and how did you get to that? And then how did you? I don't know how long you were running around like that, but how long were you able to keep consistent before you thought, oh my goodness, I'm being bitten, I'm scared, my skin's being scratched by everything?
That's a very interesting question. When I first got there, my sandals were eaten by the quicksand pit. So I was walking around barefoot because it was just so hot. It was plus 40 degrees, and I was trying to get on with the work. I was trying to gather the hammock leaves, the yucca, the banana, with the women from the jungle, and I was being bitten by microscopic worms, by mosquitoes, by all kinds of insects, creepy crawlies, and I remember I had my entire back was affected. It was I just had red spots that I had never seen before. One of the guys was trying to cure it with sugarcane alcohol, which is really, really strong, and it hurts. And one of the women, she bent down, picked up a piece of fruit, she cracked it in half, and then she took out its paste and rubbed it on my back. And actually, that was probably more effective than anything I had in my first aid box. It was very cooling and refreshing, and it stopped the itchiness. So I found that really interesting. In terms of the challenges, these were the challenges that I had no choice but to deal with them. I just didn't have any other choice. I couldn't stop because I was being bitten by an insect. I couldn't stop because they told me to take my clothes off. At that point, they had seen that I had really understood their culture, that I wanted to connect with them, and they must have seen something in me, because when I walked into the hut, they were calling me that morning, and when I walked in, the elders were preparing a kome, which is their traditional dress, which is literally a piece of string made out of plant fibers that people wear around the waist. And they were making me one. And I walked in, they said, Sarah, come on, put this on and take everything off. And it's like, what? I can't take everything off. I'm being filmed. This is my documentary. But then I had to. I mean, the elder's wife, she got really upset. She was like, be like us, take everything off. And it was my initiation ceremony that night, and I had no idea. So when I did finally take it off, and it was out of respect, as an anthropologist, participant observer, like I said before, you have to respect the culture that you're living with. And I just did it, and I was a bit scared at that point. But as soon as I did, the leader, started chanting for me. He was chanting and making me a crown out of macaw feathers. And then I joined the women, and I was making chicha, which is their traditional beverage, which they were preparing. It's basically like their version of alcohol. And they were preparing that for me that night. And I still had no idea. So I was sitting there, still covering my boobs and everything with my arm, making the chicha with the women. And through my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm making a documentary. I've got no clothes on. I'm making chicha. What's going to happen next? Next thing I hear is the guide saying, Sarah, stand up. Sarah, stand up. Minerva has made you a crown. You're going to be queen. And I was like, what? So now they just crowned me. They made me queen. And I was thinking, is this real? This sounds and feels so surreal. And I was trying to just get used to absorbing all this information. And then that evening, they were inviting me into a hut for my initiation ceremony. So this I thought was my queen ceremony, and they named me Imaka, which is my queen name from the Warani tribe. I was sitting in a hammock with the elder's wife on one side and another warrior on the other side. Now, I had all the elders gathered around me, and they had their arms outstretched, chanting songs, and they were blessing me, and basically that was my queen initiation ceremony. But I had no idea that during this ceremony they also decided to marry me to the warrior sitting next to me in the hammock. And that was their, although it sounds bizarre, it was actually a sign of honor for the elders to do that, because they saw me as a messenger. They saw me as someone who can capture their story with my film, with my documentary, and send that out to the rest of the world. Was I scared at that time? Yeah, I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea.
So I was thinking, I mean, because you had the camera crew there, did that give you a set, a bit of comfort? Because
the camera crew.
I was just going to ask that, Ben. I can't believe I was thinking the same thing.
Well, I'm just thinking, because Dr. J, you and I are very similar. So I was just thinking, like, if someone had asked me to take my clothes off and blah blah blah, I'm thinking, am I going to be molested? Are they going to play with my genitals and stuff like that? Because remember, you're an unknown to them, but also they're an unknown to you. So I was just thinking, if you had your film crew there, at least you would feel, look, if anything happens to me, at least I've got risk management.
That's the other challenge that I had. So the very first day I managed to get to the tribe, and it was through a 16-hour canoe journey over 2 days. I had only 2 crew members. One of the crew members was very sick. He was affected from the journey. So he flew out on the very first day with the National Geographic. It was just me and the cameraman, no one else. Sometimes the cameraman was so worn out that he had to rest. I remember he was sick as well on the first day, and I was taking care of him, and I was taking care of the camera. I was taking care of everything. And sometimes I had to film myself. I had to set up the camera because he was resting, and I had to come back in front of the camera and start filming and presenting. And it was really difficult. I was filming with 3 different cameras. And sometimes I was a one-woman crew. My cameraman at the time of taking the clothes off, he ran away because he thought they were going to ask him to take his clothes off too. And they did. So he left me on my own. And I was thinking, I can't believe he did this. I was calling him. I was like, where are you?
Dating list.
Sorry?
I'm just thinking, if it was me, I'd be thinking, that is one person off my dating list.
Well,
Sarah, question I have for you is, so you shared this, you're having this immersive experience with people. Now there's a level of trust, there's a bond, but at the same time, you still have the one camera person who's kind of a reminder of the world that you had been living in. And I just wonder, was there any kind of like tugging at you one way or another, that you're living in this world right now, but you're from that world over there?
You know what? No, because he and I were on the same wavelength. We, from the get-go, knew we wanted to go on an adventure and do something really epic. And so we were just going with the flow, At the same time, there were a lot of challenges, and he was the only person I could discuss those challenges with. For example, paying a lot of money to get the permission to get access to even get entrance into that part of the jungle, and then buying barrels of oil for them, because that's what they wanted, to charge the generator that they had, and we needed to use that generator to charge the camera batteries. So that was kind of ironic, considering the overall message that I had to send, because the oil, although they fought to preserve their land from oil exploitation, because other production companies had been there before and introduced things like the television and radio and various other things. There was a generator that needed oil to function. Even the petrol boats. I remember at one point in the middle of the jungle, the motor stopped working. The engine for the boat stopped working. We were literally stranded in the middle of the jungle during the hunting expedition, and we had to make a paddle out of a piece of tree bark, and then I was paddling the boat. I was paddling us back to the village, and I couldn't swim. So I was thinking, gosh, what if I sink? And it's a tiny boat. So
I actually did see that, Sarah. Just back to before we move on a little bit more, because I just think it's very challenging, especially since in the UK, since COVID, the domestic violence has gone up by 40%, and here's you thinking, I better take all off my clothes to be this. I actually know other people who've been in your position, who've gone out to help, orphanages and so on, kind of quit almost after the second and third day, because they have to live like the people, and they live in a shack, and they see mice running around or big spiders crawling over them. So kudos to you, seriously. But I'm just thinking maybe there was no fear. Maybe you are totally fearless and just. To be honest, I think I'm going to do this, and I don't care what's going to happen to me. But I'm come hell or high water. This is my journey.
I think because I've been doing a lot of shadow work over the pandemic. A lot has changed. A lot has happened. I have no family. I've had to completely cut my family out of my life because I experienced a lot of violence and abuse over the years. I'm an orphan. I don't know who my real father is. And I think this curiosity to find my identity probably led me out to explore the world. And then I was integrated, accepted, and invited to be part of all these other families, And I think that's because I've experienced the worst in my personal life. I think that's probably why I don't have that much fear in the external world. Like nothing phases me anymore. I care about making the world a better place for others. And
if you were to give some advice to other people who've been orphaned for whatever reason, what would you be sharing with them? Sorry to digress a tiny little bit, because you've gone from an orphan and various people have gone through various levels of orphan, but here you still don't know who your parents are.
I don't know who my father is. I think he's an alien. My DNA can't be identified as well.
Okay, so here you are in this position, but you've become this amazing, incredible woman who's like gone out and honestly, when Dr. J first sent your name through, and I did some background checking, I'm thinking, Oh my goodness! You are literally a superhero to myself and what the documentaries portray. So that because I know some other people who've been orphaned, yeah, many people, and there's always that kind of stuff in them where they don't really feel 100% accepted because of that lack of either good foster parenting or good any kind of parenting.
I think I had to be my own parent. You know, I think that's why there are so many masculine elements present within myself, my personality, my identity. I've had to be really strong. I've had to create this strong persona, but not just create it. I had to become it, because that was the only way I was going to survive. There were so many times where I didn't want to be on this planet, you know? It was really difficult, but the best thing to do at that point is realize that you're here for a reason. Everyone has a purpose, and you need to find that purpose. And that is what makes you want to live. That is the thing that keeps you going. That is the main reason why you're here. Everyone has a part to play on this planet. And the people who experience the worst challenges, I've been told that the biggest blessings are coming their way. If you think about a lot of the stars, everyone has a story, a backstory, or an underdog story. You know, everyone has the problems they had to overcome to become who they are. If you think about it, you said superhero. Think about, in terms of storytelling and narrative, the narrative of the hero's journey. The hero always goes through struggle and pain before the hero is realized, during and at the end of the story. And if you think about a life is pretty much a story. Everyone's life is a story. And you will have the ups and the downs, the hurdles and the highs. But how you react to that is really important. And you've got to build yourself up to really be comfortable with who you are, stay true to yourself, to your own values. When things get really tough, and things have been really tough, you've got to find ways to overcome it. It's like being in battle. The only way to win is to be the stronger opponent.
Right.
So don't let your struggles defeat you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. And the reason we set up the Underdog show was for people who'd gone through scenarios where they didn't want to be on this planet anymore. So, you know, including myself, there are times where I was just incompetent being a kid at committing suicide. My cousin was competent, and he did do it, and successfully, unfortunately. So I'm just interested in the whole Underdog show, in how you were able to, which you shared some great things, to think that my life is worth something. Was there something that ever told you, for you to have that realization when you were going through those dark times of not wanting to be here, that I'm worth it, I'm valuable, I am Sarah Begum, I am going to rock the world?
There was some really, really low points where I was also contemplating suicide. And I didn't want to be on this planet anymore. I thought, why is life so difficult? Why doesn't anyone understand me? Why do I feel like such an alien? Because I was always different. I'm so different. Sometimes I'm ahead of the rest of the world. I mean, I started traveling to these remote places over 10 years ago, when people only started traveling a bit more, and now anyone can go there, you know? So, and the way I think about things, even sustainability, the things I was preaching back then, people only care about it now. So I've always felt like a child of the future. Like, am I too early for this world to be on this planet? And it's been difficult, it's been hard. But every time I contemplated during my darkest moments, where I just didn't want to be here anymore. Something happened, like somebody called me, or something came my way to occupy me and keep my thoughts away from that. And also deep within me, I felt and I knew there's a reason why I'm here. I haven't finished my mission yet. There is a reason why I still need to be here. It's not my time to go. So, and also, like, I realized that I needed to fight my battle. I couldn't just let the battle defeat me. I couldn't let it win. And quite often, life is what you make of it. You've got to put in the action. You've got to do the work, and then you will reap the benefits. I think you've got to be in the right frame of mind, the right frequency. I've been doing a lot of meditation as well. And I've been on this really crazy, deep spiritual journey over the past year. And the way I see the world, the way I understand everything has completely changed and elevated so much more. And who I was and who I am and who I'm becoming makes so much more sense now. And those tests, they were tests and they were challenges. You know, if you think about the biggest saints, if you think about Jesus and Moses and Joseph's story I connect to very much so, because he had jealous brothers, you know, who wanted to kill him, who were jealous of him because he was his father's favorite. And then he became a king and he was interpreting dreams. These people have gone through lows, and it's about overcoming those lows, because the blessings are at the end of the tunnel. You've just got to wait. You've got to really believe in yourself and just keep going.
I love it. Really, really, really love it, Sarah.
I love it too. Thank you so much. Thank you for your transparency and for being so candid. I'm wondering, it sounds like based on your journey that you have this incredible sense of curiosity, and also at the same time you're wanting to help other people. How do you feel that your time there in the Amazon with the tribe, how has it changed you to who you are today?
Gosh, it changed everything.
She's married now, Dr. J.
She's married, that's right.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not legally married, so yes, I'm a real life Amazon warrior queen. That is my title, but it's under tribal laws. It's not under. It's a marriage of alliance. So, like I said, it was a symbolic marriage. And they saw that they did that because they wanted to initiate me and accept me into the tribe, so that I would hold and spread their message. And I advocate for this tribe. So that's what I do with my title. It's my duty to represent the tribe in the Western world and spread their message. In terms of, what was the other question?
Basically, how did this incredible experience, how did it change you as a person? I mean,
yes. Oh my gosh, it changed everything. So when I got back, I remember crying. I was thinking, oh God, what am I doing in this world? There are buildings everywhere. Where are the trees gone? You know, because I was in a place where it felt like I was during that Adam and Eve time, the beginning of time, where there are trees everywhere. It's completely pristine, natural, beautiful, so nature-esque. And then I came back to London, which is my home, where I was born, what I've known as home my entire life, and I felt alien. I felt that this wasn't my home, and I remember shaking. I was, because of the insect bites and a bug that I had caught, I was sick for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I was on high doses of cocodamol, and I was just having these dreams, intense dreams about going back to the jungle, being called back. I was deeply connected to my tribe and the shamans and the leaders, and I just kept seeing them all the time. It was really, really intense, and I just didn't want to be in this part of the world. I wanted to go back to the jungle. And on the last day, I didn't want to get on the plane. I remember saying to the cameraman, take the camera, take the footage, and you go. I don't want to go with you. I think I want to stay here. I quite like it here. You know, there's no government as such. There's no economy or war. Everyone lives peacefully. It's a life of survival, but it's peaceful. And I'm sure I can live here, and I can survive. And then I remember having the conversation with him, and then I realized, gosh, I need to get on this plane and get back because I need to finish making this documentary. That's the reason why I came here. So it changed. It made me realize that here in this world, quite often, a lot of people are occupied by material things, whereas we need to focus on the things that really matter on the soul level, on the heart level. We need to connect to each other as humans, not what someone's title is or what they wear, what they do for a living. You know, it made me think really deeply. And then again, I felt even more lonely because how many people my age at that time were thinking that deeply? There weren't many. And I was just waiting for the world to expand its consciousness and catch up with me.
It sounds like you were on an incredible emotional journey because now you've connected with these people. You're part of their tribe. You're their queen, and you leave all of that to come back to concrete buildings, judgments, people, you know, not giving the same kind of environment that you had when you were over there. How do you feel today? Do you feel like you'd rather be back there, or are you happy with where you are and you're just made adjustments to how you're living?
I think I've had to learn to adjust and survive and adapt no matter where I am. I've been to so many other terrains since, because that defined my life's mission over the past decade. And it made me experience what we call in space the overview effect on Earth. And I'm now able to bring all of those experiences into the space industry and realize and make them realize why we need to protect Earth and why we need to quite fast, very fast, become a spacefaring civilization and get to Mars. So the thing is, these stories are quite often sidelined and ignored, and they're unheard. These are voices that I have the privilege of sharing, you know, their messages, their lives, their characters, their culture, their values, their teachings, their wisdom, ancient wisdom, because a lot of their wisdom is finally making sense to me now. For example, one of the interviews, I asked them at the time, what religion do you have? What's your belief system? What do you believe in? And they said, oh, we don't have any religion. We don't need any religion. We're doing really fine here, living in the jungle. But we believe in the stars. We just believe in the stars. And they laughed at me. I thought, okay, I don't know what that means. And now I realize, because of my connection to stars and because of my spiritual journey as well, I realize what that means. For example, after interviewing a stellar scientist, a stellar evolutionist from Cambridge University, you told me everything survives and thrives on starlight. What is starlight? It's the sun. That is the sun. The sun is a star, and we get light from that star. That light from that sun, from the star in our solar system, is what ripens the grapes in our vineyards. It also gives us the vitamin D that we need. It helps the plants to grow. It helps everything to grow. I mean, it's fascinating. It's so fascinating when you think big, when you think outside of the box you're in, beyond not just the city you're in or the country or the continent, but beyond the planet you're on. You start to see everything differently and in context. We're a tiny dot. We are a tiny dot in this entire universe. And which brings up the question of war. Why is there war? Why are we fighting with borders or land or money when we need to unite for the greater good? We need to work together to accomplish our goals and objectives quicker Because imagine if an asteroid hit the Earth and wiped out humanity. What of humanity would there be left to preserve if we didn't work together faster to find a solution? You know? And what about climate change? Yeah, it made me think about climate change as well. It made me think about climate change, and it made me want to just tell the whole world about how important it is, this beautiful part of the world, to protect it, because we need the lungs of the world for our planet to breathe. Otherwise, quite quickly, we can turn to Venus and burn out. And that is why they are trying to get humans to Mars, because Mars is our safe haven after Earth. When Earth turns to Venus because of climate change and various other factors, we need a plan B and a planet B to survive on. Otherwise, what of humanity is there left? We don't know if there are any other life forms out there in the universe, and if there are, they haven't made contact with us yet. So we need to preserve humanity. We can only do that by working together.
Well, you know, Dr. J and myself are aliens, don't you, Sarah?
Oh, I'm an alien too.
We're making contact with you now.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you are, because I thought I was the only one. You know, I did a DNA test through 23andMe, and my DNA can't be identified. I sent 3 samples. They told me to stop sending my samples. They said they've tried everything, but they couldn't detect the DNA in my samples. So,
Sarah, this coming Saturday, I don't know if you live anywhere near Hyde Park.
Yes,
but
I do actually.
At 12 o'clock, there's a lot of people who are meeting there. I'm a member of 3 communities that are meeting in Hyde Park. There's a dance groups, because I do a lot of Latin dancing. There's the Internations. These are people who just from all different parts of the world. And there's one from an app called Clubhouse, where there's just decided to meet there. If you're interested, I'd love to, because I know we've only got about 10-15 minutes left of the show.
8 minutes.
8 minutes left of the show to explore more of your journey. And also you might meet quite a lot of other people there who have similar perspectives to you.
Amazing. Thank you. I shall do that.
Yeah, because I know we're connected on some of your contact details. So just whatever, and I'll just send you the details.
Please do. It'd be great to meet you in person, Doctor Who. Funny enough,
Sarah.
Yeah, sorry. I just did a video for BBC Doctor Who for their coding app, and went on an adventure on another planet and learnt to code to control the rover. So it's great. There are so many Doctor Who's popping up.
I noticed that, Sarah. I noticed that. And again, if we had enough time, I would have liked to have gone there. But it's more about your journey and challenges to help other people get to your level of understanding because they're going through their challenges. And as I said, my cousin was successful, and if we can prevent any more of people just being caught up in their own mess and start evolving to having similar thoughts to yourself and overcoming that. I mean, that's what this whole show's about. So
Feeling better about themselves.
Can I give some advice?
Sure, we would love that.
Okay, during the pandemic, I started doing a lot of shadow work and a lot of self-work, because I wanted to take this opportunity to look inside myself and grow. I've always been fascinated by the work of Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. And Carl Jung says about the shadow, he says to integrate the shadow. So I was looking at a lot of different shadows, elements of my personality, of my character, things that I could edit or edit out or integrate. And I was trying to find the root of it. Like, where did it come from? Was this because of an exposure from my childhood? Was this because of the way a sibling or a parent spoke to me, or had an effect on me, or a friend, my first friendship or first relationship, or any relationship? What if those experiences and relationships affected me and my belief system? And then the things that were limiting or negative or that I didn't serve me any longer. I was working and meditating to get them out of my consciousness and out of my being. And over time, I developed so much. I did so much. I grew so much, and I changed almost every other day or every day. And I was growing to the point where now I can look at the world from the perspective of being in space. But I think doing a lot of self-work, listening to inspiring people, inspiring podcasts, listening to teachers and people who carry a lot of wisdom, a lot of self-love as well. You've got to love yourself. You've got to love who you are. I got rid of a lot of friends. I had like 3,000 friends on Facebook. Now I have 200, and I'm not scared to cut more out. It's about having friends of quality and not just quantity, because there will be a lot of people who don't really care about you as a person. They just want to be around you because you're interesting, or you're beautiful, or you have a
famous.
Yeah, famous, whatever.
Famous, and have power. Yeah, I'm totally with you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about, and these are the people who, their energies, everything's energy, everyone's an energy. It's about having the right energies that care about you and support you in your life, and listening to them, or listening to yourself first and foremost, but taking the advice from the people who really care about you, not the ones who don't, you know, because having the right people around you is really important. Having the right tribe around you is really important. Although a lot of the things I've been through have been on my own, I've been lucky to have that odd person, wherever in the world they may be, to speak with, you know, or to help me through a certain situation. And I think it's having the right people, that's really important, and knowing who that is, because not everyone has your best interests. But before asking anyone, because now I don't even ask for relationship advice, I know within myself what the answer is. So to ask yourself the questions that you need the answers to, and you will quite often, whether it's a gut instinct or an idea or concept or an answer that you're drawn to, you will know what the answer is. And just controlling your life yourself. Don't let anyone else control your life for you, you know? And just, there are so many different things. Being present, you know, Alan Watts, being present, meditating. Meditation changed my life. Meditate every morning, get up, meditate, even if it's for 5 minutes. Energy work. So many things happened to me. I developed healing powers. I had electricity shooting out of my hands, and now I have silver particles in my skin. I got my doctor to check it out for me, and he said, yes, I see it, but I can't medically explain it. Meanwhile, the spiritual community is saying, oh, you developed healing powers, cool, now you need to use it. So, I mean, my life, the entire year, it was like something out of a sci-fi movie.
You have some sci-fi fans here who also, you know, believe in
good.
This area.
Oh, Philip, thank you. That's such a nice message. Thank you, Philip.
Philip has another comment as well. My friend Dr. John Gray said men are from Mars, so can I get a free ticket when we go to Mars? Are you planning on going to Mars? Are you in? Good. Perfect. We also have a comment from Fraser. We have a few comments from Fraser, but I'm showing this one. The others are directed at Ben. So.
Thank you. Happy Wednesday to you too. Happy Hump Day.
Sarah, we're definitely going to have you back on the show because, like Ben said, there's so much more we could ask you. We could have you here for a week. So I hope that you'll come back and share part 2 with us.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I hope it's been useful for your listeners.
Definitely. And if you're just joining us, you missed the beginning of the show, please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Dr. Jacalyn LLC. You can watch the show from the beginning. Sarah, how do people get in touch with you? We're streaming your banner, but for people who are listening on the radio, what's the best way?
So you can catch me on Instagram. It's at Sarah Begum. You can go onto the website, www.sarahbegum.tv. You can catch me on Twitter at Sarah_Begum. Check out my YouTube channel, Sarah Begum World TV. Or email me if you want to discuss anything, sarahbegumfilms@gmail.com.
Brilliant. Thank you
Brilliant.
so much. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for being here. You are so
much for
inspirational.
having me.
Beautiful soul.
Yeah, very, very just amazing. We always have really wonderful guests, Dr. J. And Sarah, you're up with all the shining lights that we've had on the show. Really, really fantastic.
And you're our queen, Sarah.
Aw, you're my king and queen.
Our warrior queen.
But we're not a couple, though. We're just...
That's fine. I love how you have to bring that out. You're still my king and queen.
Yes, definitely, for sure. All right. Thank you again. We hope you have a beautiful evening and enjoy the sun. And hopefully you're going to get together with Ben. What did you say, Saturday, Ben?
Yeah, Saturday lunchtime. In fact, we've also got a lot of people from the media there because I'm a member of an actors and backs, whatever it is, everything to do with media group. So I've invited them along. So
amazing.
Just you're bound to find your community there, Sarah. I just am connected to really interesting people and who've got very similar perspectives to you.
Thank you. I shall do that. I'll put it in my diary.
Oh, I love it. An in-person connection. That's great. All right. Wow. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, guys.
Thank you, Sarah.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I just love her.
Yeah. I mean, we've had some really great guests recently, Dr. J. And there is our warrior queen. I've been looking for that person for a while now. And she loves she's been in Doctor Who. So.
And you two are meeting in person. I just think it's incredible. Maybe you'll be, I don't know if she's a dancer, but maybe she can be dancing with you.
I should probably just take everyone up to space with her and educate a lot of people on that. But seriously, there's some very, very interesting people. The Clubhouse one is being organized by, he's actually a TEDx speaker himself, who's trying to transform the educational system in the UK. So just some amazing people. The problem is that they're arriving somewhere between 12 in the afternoon and 10 at night. I'll just try and be there as long as possible.
Is this regardless of the weather? If the weather's inclement, doesn't matter?
The weather is supposed to be very, very hot, 28, 29, 30, whatever it is degrees. So we're saying everyone bring some water and sunscreen.
Excellent. Dr. Who, I do want to thank you on another note for the introduction to Deborah Wooten, because we're starting our show tomorrow, which is the 529 Club Creatives show. So thank you for that introduction. Yay! Thank you for that great idea and the introduction.
No problem. So, Dr. J, we need to have a catch-up at some stage. But, our guests will be bored by our catch-up. So
yes.
Wish them all well.
Absolutely. Let's say goodbye to everyone. Thank you again for being here. Stay tuned. The business show is coming up right after this with my co-host, Mr. Al Cini. And we've got some brilliant guests. And then we've got A Better You and In the Name of Love. All right. We'll see you all later. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Every day it was the same old story. I worked hard to make sure no one noticed what I was dealing with, but my stomach never cared where I was. And the pain just kept coming. After too many close calls and even weight loss, I had to do something. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation helped me realize what was going on and even helped me find a specialist. Don't hide your symptoms. Get help at spillyourguts.org.